In this unit, there is a lot of vocabulary, so it is going to be important to make sure you understand what the words mean. Congruent means exactly the same size. So if we say things are congruent like angles, they're going to be the same measure. Midpoint is the middle point of a segment. A bisector cuts a segment or angle in two equal parts. Parallel means two lines that never touch. Parallel lines, think of like railroad tracks. Perpendicular is two lines that intersect at a 90-degree angle, a right angle. A transversal is a line that intersects two parallel lines. Complementary angles are two or more angles that add up to 90 degrees. Complementary means they make a corner. Supplementary, two or more angles that add up to 180 degrees. They make a straight line. A linear pair is two angles that are adjacent, which means they're next to each other, and add up to 180. Vertical angles are two angles that are formed by an X. They are angles that are opposite from each other. They're across from each other. I'll draw a picture. So like these would be vertical angles. So corresponding angles are two angles that are in the same position at different intersections. So you'll see they're listed here. 1 and 5 are corresponding, 2 and 6 are corresponding, 3 and 7 are corresponding, and 4 and 8 are corresponding. They're also color-coded to match. All right, alternate interior angles are two angles, and you have all these definitions in your notes if you want to look back at them, that are inside the parallels but on opposite sides of the transversal. So like 3 and 6 and 4 and 5, you'll see they're kind of color-coded to match as well. And both of these types of angles are going to be congruent to each other. All right, alternate exterior angles are next. So this is two angles that are outside of the parallels, but on opposite sides of the transversal. So like 1 and 7 and 2 and 8. Consecutive interior, or the other thing that you'll hear me call this is same side interior, is two angles that are inside the parallels and on the same side of the transversal. Which they are supplementary, just so these are congruent, and these two angles are going to be supplementary. which means they add up to 180. Try some of these on your own. See if you can identify how they're related, and then check my video to see how you do. Right, hopefully you paused it and tried these. Naming this will help you practice. So number 1 is vertical, because they are 1 and 3 are directly across from each other. 3 and 5. So 3 and 5, it does help if you mark them. So 3 and 5, they're inside the parallels and they're on opposite sides of the transversal. So those are going to be alternate interior angles. Okay. Then the next one says 2 and 8. So those are outside of the parallels. So they're in opposite sides of the transversal. So alternate exterior angles. The next ones are 1 and 6. 1 and 6, one's inside, one's outside. So they can't be either interior or exterior. They are on opposite sides of the transversal, so we don't really have anything going on with that. So they have no relationship. You don't really have any way to identify how those can be related to each other name-wise. All right, 4 and 5. Those are inside the parallels, but on the same side. So that's going to be consecutive interior. And then 5 and 6 for the last one. And 5 and 6 form a straight line, so that makes them supplementary. The other thing you could put is a linear pair, even though I didn't spell that right. Even though that's not an option on there. This part is just talking to you about how the angles are related. So vertical angles are always congruent. That means when you have them, you're going to set them equal to each other. Corresponding angles are always congruent. Alternate interior angles are always congruent. Alternate exterior angles are always congruent. But consecutive angles are supplementary, which means they add up to 180. So don't just think they're all congruent. You have to make sure you're watching out for which ones are supplementary, those ones that add up to 180, the ones that make a straight line, or the ones that are same side interior. All right, we're going to use the vocab that we learned to identify these and see how they're related, and then solve for x using that. So they are on the outsides of the parallels, and they are on opposite sides of the transversal. So these are going to be alternate exterior angles, and they are congruent. So we set these equal to each other. 5x equals 4x plus 11. So then I can minus the 4x on both sides. So x equals 11, and we're done. So the easiest way to figure these out most of the time is identify what type of angles they are, and then solve, set up the equation and solve. Looking at these two angles, you should see that they are same side interior or consecutive interior, however you want to look at it, which means they add to 180 or they're supplementary. So I'm going to say 9x plus 4 plus 13x equals 180. So then I'm going to combine my like terms. 9x plus 13x is 22x plus 4 equals 180. So then we want to solve. Minus 4 on both sides. 22x equals 176. The triangle sum theorem says that all angles in a triangle always add to 180 degrees. So here, what we're going to do with all of these angles inside the triangle, x plus 24 plus 88 equals 180, and solve. Combine your like terms. So x plus 112 equals 180, minus 112 on both sides. X equals 68. This one is a little bit more complex, but it does use the same concept. So try that to go ahead and set it up and try to solve, and then check your work with my work. So pause the video and try it. All right, hopefully you did that. Here's what you would do. X plus 21 plus X plus 23 plus X plus 61 equals 180. And then combine your like terms. X plus X is 3X. 21 plus, actually, I'll do this on another line. 21 plus 23 plus 61 equals 180. Then you want to combine these like terms. So 3X plus 105 equals 180 minus 105 on both sides. 3X equals 75. Divide by 3, X equals 25. So any triangle that you have, the angles are always going to add up to 180 degrees no matter what. On this one, you'll notice that one of the angles that you've been given is actually outside of the triangle, but if you'll notice, it is a vertical angle. So this one inside is also 4X plus 17. So then we can use the same theorem. So 4X plus 17 plus X plus 23 plus 80 equals 180. Combine your like terms. 5X and bring everything else down. Then combine all your numbers. So 5X plus 120 equals 180 minus 120 on both sides. 5X equals 60. Divide by 5 on both sides. X equals 12. So no matter what, all triangles are always going to add up to 180 degrees. Now we're going to talk about ways to prove that triangles are similar. The first one is AA, or angle, angle. Remember, this is similar, not congruent. So similar means that they're going to be in proportion. So prove that two angles are congruent. So if you have two sets of angles that are congruent, then the triangles are similar. All right. The next one is side, angle, side. And you have to prove that the two sides are proportional and that one angle is congruent. The third one is side, side, side. You have to prove that all three sides are proportional. What we can see in this problem is that there's two triangles and they're stacked on top of each other. So you've got QRS with a side of 10 and 8, and you've got QTW with sides of 15 and 12, and they share that angle at the top. So then we can compare the sides. I don't like that it used the pieces. You're really not supposed to do that. So 10 over 15 and 8 over 12. When you cross multiply, 10 times 12 is 120. 8 times 15 is 120. They are proportional, so they are similar by side, angle, side. So let's look at this one. This one is a little bit different only because the triangles are touching already. So remember, that gives you vertical angles in the middle. And you want to match the biggest side with the biggest side. So 22 over 11 and 20 over 10. So 22 times 10 is 220. 11 times 20 is 220. Since they are equal, they are similar. So triangle DAR is similar to EAK. And the reason is by side, angle, side, because you had a set of sides here, a set of angles here, a set of sides here. Try this one on your own and see how you do. Remember, match biggest side with biggest side, smallest side with smallest side, middle with middle, and then try your proportions out. All right, hopefully you tried this. So if I do biggest with biggest, so 84 over 14, and then middle with middle, and smallest with small, making sure that the fractions, so like you'll notice everything on the top, all these came from this triangle over here, and everything on the bottom came from the triangle on the right. Okay, so now we want to cross multiply. You want to do 84 times 12, which is 1008. 14 times 72, which is also 1008. So this checks out. Then you want to do 8 times 72, which is 576, and 12 times 48, which is 576. So these check out as well. So that's going to be side, side, side. Then we need to look triangle A, B, C. So top, down, and left. So top, down, and right. H, G, F. All right, the midsegment of a triangle theorem says that the midsegment of a triangle is equal to half the third side. So before setting up an equation, multiply the midsegment by 2, then solve. So you want to take whatever's in the middle, multiply it by 2, and then set it equal to that third side. And I'm going to show you that on the next one. So here we're going to take this midsegment times it by 2 and set it equal to 58. Then we can distribute. So 10x minus 2 equals 58. Add 2. 10x equals 60. Divide by 10. X equals 6. Try this problem using the same thing and then hit play once you're done to check and see how you did. All right, if I do 2 times the midsegment, which was x plus 2, set it equal to 3x minus 8. I'm going to distribute. So I get 2x plus 4 equals 3x minus 8. I'm going to minus the 2x. Ooh, that minus looks terrible. Minus the 2x. 4 equals x minus 8. I'm going to add the 8. X equals 12. Last one, the triangle proportionality theorem states that if a line parallel to one side of a triangle intersects the other side of the triangle, then it divides these two sides proportionally. Which means as long as it, y is terrible, as long as it's parallel, you can say 8 over x equals 4 over 6. So you can cross multiply. 4x equals 48. Divide by 4, x equals 12. To use this here, we need to actually find this little segment on the bottom right here. So if the whole thing is 8, this top piece is 5, it means this bottom piece is 3. So then we can set it up. X over 5 equals 2 over 3. Cross multiply. 10 equals 3x. Divide by 3 on both sides. X equals, you can leave it as 10 over 3 or 3.3 repeating. Last one, and this one is a little bit more complex, but I still want you to try it and then check your work. Hopefully you tried it. X minus 2 over 3 equals x plus 3 over 5. Cross multiply. 5 times x minus 2 equals 3 times x plus 3. Distribute. So 5x minus 10 equals 3x plus 9 minus 3x on both sides. 2x minus 10 equals 9. I'm going to add 10 to both sides. Then I'm going to get 2x equals 19. Divide by 2. X equals, you can leave it as 19 over 2 or 9.5. And that's it for this unit.